For thousands of years, we have been gazing at the sky, striving to explore the depths of space, planets, galaxies, and the mysteries of the universe. Since we learned that our Earth is but a speck of dust in the vastness of the cosmos, we hold on to a dream of transcending our small world and reaching out into the depths of the universe. Imagine if you were to learn one day that we could indeed journey to the depths of the universe, closely examine various planets, and even communicate with civilizations on those planets. What an incredible moment it would be to realize that humanity's age-old dream has finally come true, wouldn't it? In this video, I will tell you about yet another extraordinary conspiracy theory. This conspiracy theory revolves around a space project that claims humanity has already traveled to the depths of space and reached different planets. The name of this unusual project is the Serpo Project. Welcome to my channel called The Discovery of Mystery, where we will unveil the curtains of secrets. Before delving into the Serpo Project, let's touch upon the Roswell UFO incident. The Roswell incident is considered the beginning of UFO myths. July 4, 1947, was a stormy day in Roswell, New Mexico. During the storm, a loud explosion-like noise was heard at the Foster Ranch. The owner of the ranch, William McBrazel, noticed scattered wreckage across a wide area while surveying the damage caused by the storm the next morning. The peculiarity of the metal debris caught Brazel's attention as its structure was vastly different. Additionally, there were hieroglyphic-like inscriptions on it. Brazel loaded some of these debris onto his pickup truck and went to the town sheriff, George Wilcox. Upon examining the wreckage together, they believed it belonged to an extraterrestrial UFO. The sheriff then sent his deputies to investigate the site. Meanwhile, Frank Joyce, a reporter for the local radio station KGFL, broadcasted the news of the incident to the listeners after talking with the sheriff. Later, the sheriff contacted the Roswell Army Air Forces to report the situation. Intelligence officers from the airbase confiscated the wreckage for examination. However, an order came from the Pentagon transferring the investigation. When Pentagon officials examined the wreckage, they found high levels of radioactivity. Aircraft were subsequently sent to the area for a thorough reconnaissance, which led to the discovery of wreckage belonging to a UFO. A team was dispatched to the site for further examination. Meanwhile, the sheriff and his team made an incredible discovery. While inspecting the debris and its surroundings, they found lifeless creatures next to a large piece of wreckage, which they couldn't identify precisely. Witnesses at the scene described the creatures as large-headed and clad in silver uniforms. Soon, the situation escalated, and soldiers deployed to the area erected barricades around the wreckage site. Subsequently, no one was allowed to enter the area. After the local reporter's radio broadcast, the only topic discussed in the region was aliens. However, Washington eventually intervened, sending a written press release to all radio stations. The press release stated that the wreckage was from a weather balloon used for meteorological research, refuting any claims about lifeless alien creatures. Photographs of the debris field, purported to be the crash site, showing only remnants of a weather balloon, were also distributed to the press and published. The incident took on a rather bizarre tone because while it was claimed that the fallen object was a weather balloon, the area being cordoned off by soldiers and the research conducted in secrecy were quite peculiar. If it was just a simple weather balloon, what was the reason for this secrecy and military operation? At this stage, the events suggest that a serious cover-up operation was underway. After briefly touching on the Roswell incident, let's return to our main topic, the Serpo Project. The Serpo Project is a conspiracy theory. It is alleged that the United States initiated and conducted a secretive space research project in 1965. According to the claims, teams selected through special and rigorous training were sent to another planet for research purposes in 10-year intervals, using the technology of the aliens with whom an agreement had been made. Additionally, an alien team was allowed to come to Earth for the same purpose, similar to an exchange program. Very interesting, isn't it? The claims about this project indeed resemble a science fiction movie. The first claims about the project surfaced in 2005. An anonymous person sent a series of emails to Victor Martinez, a former U.S. government employee. These emails detailed an agreement between the U.S. government and extraterrestrial beings from a planet in the Zeta Reticuli star system. The sender introduced himself as a retired former U.S. government employee. Furthermore, a UFO researcher named Bill Ryan made an interesting statement. An individual claiming to be a retired high-ranking official who once worked at the U.S. Department of Defense informed Bill Ryan that this project was real and that 6 teams had been sent to another planet to date. There was another person who contacted Bill Ryan to verify this information. A retired lieutenant colonel who had previously served in the Air Force claimed to have been personally involved in this project and facilitated the release of numerous related documents. The claims are quite extraordinary. However, those who put forth these claims remain anonymous. This uncertainty, of course, confuses people. What we know very well is that the leaders of states, military units, and secret services never disclose the truth to the public. Projects of vital importance are always conducted in secrecy. The reason for this is that states and secret services aim to gain technological and strategic advantages in global politics. States have 2 main objectives. The first is to govern people stably under their strong authority. The second is to elevate their position in global politics by making this stability permanent. According to states, secrecy is necessary to achieve these goals. Therefore, it is possible for secret projects to be conducted and for technological advancements to be kept confidential. Occasionally, claims made by individuals who have worked on such projects, aiming to reveal them to the public, have managed to capture people's interest as conspiracy theories, even if they are not supported by concrete evidence. You can also view the Serpo Project, which I will detail shortly, from this perspective. Returning to the details of the Serpo Project, according to the claims I mentioned earlier, a few alien creatures were captured from the UFO wreckage that fell in 2 separate locations near the town of Roswell. One of these aliens was captured alive, while the others were found dead. The living alien was named Eben. The contact established with Eben marked the beginning of the path to the Serpo Project. Initially, Eben was reluctant to communicate with humans. The humans first gave it water and food. Eben accepted the water but refused the food. Eben, along with the recovered items from the crash wreckage, was taken to a base in Los Alamos. In the following days, efforts were made to communicate with Eben. After some time, Eben began to share information about its home planet, how they lived, and what they needed. At first, Eben was unwilling to provide details on how the systems in the crashed spacecraft operated, but eventually, it started to share information on that topic as well. Eben sent messages to its home planet through the systems in the spacecraft. There were 5 messages in total. The first message was to inform that it was alive. The second message was to explain the crash and the death of the crew. The third message was to request a rescue vehicle for itself. The fourth message was to arrange an official meeting with the leaders on Earth. Lastly, the fifth message was to initiate an exchange program. In other words, the foundations of the Serpo Project began with this fifth message. According to the claims, Eben died in 1952. Various conspiracy theories have been proposed regarding this. Some believe that Eben did not die and is still living in a secret location on Earth. Others claim that it returned to its home planet. Beyond these speculations, there is no definitive claim. Following Eben's messages, steps were taken to start an exchange program with the aliens for research purposes. The communication that began in 1952 lasted for 13 years, and an agreement was reached after 13 years. According to this agreement, a specially selected team from Earth would be taken to a designated planet with the support of the aliens for 10 years. Similarly, a team of the same number of aliens would come to Earth. After the agreement, training began for a group of military personnel to be taken to another planet. These trainings were designed to help the soldiers adapt to harsh conditions. The first team consisted of 9 men and 1 woman. Upon discovering that the only woman in the team was pregnant, she was removed from the team, leaving the first team with 9 members. Everything was meticulously planned. It was decided that the team would bring enough food to last for 2 years. These 9 individuals would be sent to the planet of the Zeta Reticuli aliens in their spacecraft. However, due to the US government's mistrust of the aliens, the spacecraft was sent under the control of 2 human pilots. The Zeta Reticuli aliens guided the pilots through a wormhole. Due to the pilots' inexperience, the spacecraft ended up not at the planned planet but in an entirely different place, 3 star systems away. Although the 9 individuals found 7 habitable planets, they were unable to reach them. After being lost for about 3 years, the aliens eventually found the soldiers and brought them back. During the time they were lost, 3 of the soldiers died due to harsh conditions. The remaining 6 were returned to Earth by the aliens. Before we move on to the work conducted with the second team, I would like to talk about a film that I really enjoyed watching. I'm sure many of you have heard of or seen the movie Interstellar. Let's briefly recall the plot of this film. In the movie, life on Earth is under deadly threat due to a dust catastrophe that causes problems in agricultural production and respiratory issues for people. Cooper, a former pilot who has now become a farmer, discovers NASA's secret research center by an interesting coincidence. At this research center, Cooper encounters Professor Brand, an old acquaintance and who runs the center. At Professor Brand's invitation, Cooper joins the team as a pilot. The purpose of the research center is to find a habitable planet outside Earth. The professor tells Cooper about a project they have been working on. The professor tells 10 years ago, they sent 12 specially selected and trained scientists through a wormhole created by aliens near Earth to designated planets in distant galaxies. Also, he tells each spacecraft was loaded with enough food to last 2 years. The rest of the movie follows the team's efforts to reach some of these planets and save humanity. Some of the details in the movie are truly fascinating, aren't they? There are also interesting similarities between this film and the Serpo Project. According to some claims, the movie Interstellar was inspired by the Serpo Project. Do you think this film was made purely based on a science fiction story? Or is there more to it? I leave the interpretation to you. Now, let's return to the Serpo Project and the details regarding the second team to be sent. After the issues experienced with the first team, preparations began for the second team. When the 6 people who had returned were asked if they were ready to go again, all 6 said yes. 3 more people and a Zeta Reticuli alien pilot were added to the team. After preparations were complete, this second team set off, entered a wormhole, and disappeared. Despite being searched for by extraterrestrials, the ship and its crew were never found again. The exact reason for their disappearance remains unknown. Some claim that the team was beamed to the past, but there is no evidence to support these claims. I cannot say I find these claims plausible either. After the first 2 unsuccessful attempts, the selection and training for a third team began on Earth. This time, the team consisted of 12 people. With the help of 2 Zeta Reticuli alien pilots accompanying the team on the ship, they successfully passed through the wormhole and reached the planet of the Zeta Reticuli aliens. In my research on the Serpo Project, it is mentioned that from this point on, the team sent messages to Earth. These messages provided information about life on the planet they had reached. According to the information from the team's messages, there was only one alien race on the planet they went to. The doctor in the 12-person team died within the first 3 years due to illness. Another member of the team was severely injured. The team had difficulty adapting to the planet, particularly due to the high temperatures and food shortages. They had taken enough food to last 2 years with them. By consuming less, they managed to stretch this period to about 3 years. However, once their supplies ran out, they started consuming the planet's food. Naturally, the team struggled to adapt to the unfamiliar food. You might wonder why no food was sent from Earth. The purpose was to see if humans could adapt to and cope with such a situation. Establishing colonies on other planets has always been a dream of humanity. You can see this dream in the statements of Elon Musk, who frequently talks about establishing a colony on Mars, and in the exploration efforts of space research organizations like SpaceX and NASA. The reason for not sending food to the team on the alien planet was to test the limits of human adaptability to life on a different planet. Let's return back to the messages received now. The name of the planet the team went to is Eben. While conducting research on this planet, the team was never restricted by the Zeta Reticuli aliens. They were provided with every possible facility. Over the years, the team began living in the northern regions of the planet because these areas were less hot compared to other regions. The concept of time on the planet Eben is very different from that on Earth. The Zeta Reticuli aliens do not have concepts like calendars, months, and years as we do on Earth. These aliens are diligent and disciplined beings. They structure their lives according to a large solar tower. This tower has holes at its top, and at certain times of the day, sunlight passes through these holes. The aliens carry out their activities based on which hole the sunlight enters. On that planet, it is never pitch dark. The sky darkens slightly, but not enough to call it a full night. The duration of daylight on the planet is 43 hours. The Zeta Reticulan aliens rest 3 times during this period, with a total rest time of 14 hours. For the aliens, rest is not like human sleep. They feel refreshed after their 14 hours of rest. The total population of aliens on the planet Eben is 650,000. Additionally, strange animals also inhabit the planet. There are no oceans on this planet like on Earth. Mountains are also very few. There are also different structures resembling trees. Zeta Reticuli aliens communicate telepathically and sometimes respond with certain sounds. Due to their telepathic communication, their language and vocal cords have not developed. Eben is a 2-star planet located in another solar system, 37 light-years away from Earth. Due to the tilted axis, the north of the planet is less hot than other regions. Eben's atmosphere resembles Earth's, containing carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen elements. The 12-person team reached the Eben planet through a wormhole, taking 9 months. During the journey, members of the team suffered from headaches and stayed in specially prepared places on Eben to adapt to its atmosphere for several months. Throughout this period, the team experienced constant headaches and imbalance. The biggest challenge on Eben is getting used to the brightness and heat of the sun. Although clouds exist, rain is very scarce. The vehicles that transport the team from one place to another resemble helicopters on Earth, but operate with a different energy source. After a few attempts, the pilots in the team were able to use these vehicles easily. Zeta Reticuli aliens have a leader but no government. Living in a certain social order, these aliens do not commit crimes in their lives. They have an army. However, they do not have weapons or military vehicles like those on Earth. Zeta Reticuli aliens do not use money and do not have stores like shopping malls. There is only a place where necessity materials are distributed, and needy aliens go there to get the items they need. I mentioned that Zeta Reticuli aliens did not restrict the team in any way. They only did not want the team to communicate with alien children, and politely warned the team members about it. Let's also talk about the characteristics of the Eben planet. This planet has 2 suns. The distance to its first sun is 96 million miles, while the distance to its second sun is 91 million miles. Additionally, the planet has 2 moons. A year on Eben lasts 865 days, while a day lasts 43 hours. The temperature on the planet varies between a minimum of 17 and a maximum of 52 degrees Celsius. The closest planet to the Eben planet is Silas. There are also alien creatures on the Silas planet. However, there are no intelligent life forms on this planet. Zeta Reticuli aliens live in communities on Eben. Each community has come from a different planet. Some of the communities come from a planet near Alpha Centauri, while another community comes from the Leo star system. Each community on the Eben planet has a code. For example, aliens who have existed on the Eben planet without coming from anywhere else are given the code ET2, while aliens from Alpha Centauri are given the code ET3. They have a record system where they keep their past. These records contain information about coming to this planet from 9 different places. In fact, they are all of the same race. They live together on this planet. The Eben planet is approximately 3 billion years old. In fact, the first Zeta Reticuli aliens to come to Eben initially lived on another planet. About 5,000 years ago, they came to this planet to save their lives due to some natural events on their old planet. About 3,000 years ago, they had a great war with another alien race. Although they suffered heavy losses in this war, they managed to destroy all their enemies. For about 2,000 years, they have not encountered any threats requiring war. According to what the Zeta Reticuli aliens told the team, they first visited Earth about 2,000 years ago. In Eben, each alien has a mate, and they reproduce through a sexual method that the team couldn't fully understand. However, they are only allowed to have 2 children. The team noticed a family of aliens with 4 children, which raised some questions. When asked, they learned that the family actually had only 2 children, while the other 2 belonged to deceased another Eben aliens for various reasons, and this alien family take care of the other 2 alien children. Just like on Earth, adoption practices exist in the lives of Eben aliens. The aliens in Eben have a rapidly developing brain structure. Their IQ is around 165 on average. There is one educational facility in Eben, where each individual's occupation is determined. The aliens in Eben have strange energy systems that the Earth team couldn't fully describe. The Eben aliens have unique mourning rituals after deaths. The messages mention rituals performed for aliens who died in accidents witnessed by the team. There are no devices like television or radio in daily life on this planet. They only have musical entertainment consisting of rhythms. They have instruments resembling drums. Each alien has a device that allows them to communicate through holographic images. The team couldn't fully understand how the device works. We've always wondered if there are other races in our galaxy. When the team asked this question to the aliens in Eben, they mentioned that there are different civilizations in our galaxy, and there are even races that could be considered enemies. When the team asked where these enemy races are, the aliens preferred to end the conversation by asking, "Are you wishing to end your existence?" It's a good answer, in my opinion. In my video about the three-body problem, I mentioned the Fermi paradox and the dark forest theory. When considering these topics, the answer given by the Eben aliens is quite disturbing. In Eben, all the aliens' houses are identical. They all have 4 rooms. There are no toilets in their houses because they don't need them. Eben's aliens somehow eliminate the food they eat from their bodies, or expel it through simple liquid emissions like sweat. Therefore, the team's need for a toilet has been a major problem. The team members have had to dispose of their large wastes in bags and take them to distant places. Similarly, the aliens' food has also been a significant issue for the team. The team has had considerable difficulty adapting to certain foods. In general, this is the information received from the team. In fact, the number of messages sent by the team is considerable. It is claimed that the incoming messages total 3,000 pages. Considering the duration of the video, I tried to compile the most important information without extending it too much. However, if you are curious about all the details of the incoming messages, I recommend researching the subject thoroughly. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, in this project, after a research process of 10 years, the old team returned to Earth, and a new team sent back to Eben. According to claims about the Serpo Project, of the 12 people sent to Eben from the third team, 3 died. Of the remaining 9, 2 refused to return to Earth. At the beginning of the journey back to Earth, 2 more people from the team lost their lives on the spacecraft. Therefore, only 5 out of the 12 members of the third team sent back were able to return to Earth. After the third team, there are also individuals in the subsequent teams who chose to stay on Eben rather than return. If a team is sent to space every 10 years as part of the Serpo Project that began in the 1960s, then by now, 6 teams should have been sent. The most detailed information received about the project is the information sent by the third team dispatched to Eben. There is no shared information about what happened to the subsequent teams and what occurred there. According to conspiracy theorists, the Serpo Project is a starting point for such space exploration endeavors. It is claimed that this project has paved the way for many subsequent projects. From time to time, some individuals have put forward many remarkable claims regarding space exploration. Especially in 2001 and 2002. Let's recall Gary McKinnon, who hacked into the software of the Pentagon, NASA, and the US Army. One of Gary McKinnon's most striking claims was that he accessed documents related to extraterrestrial missions allegedly carried out by NASA. Who knows? Maybe we have already begun to explore the depths of space. Many claims about space and UFOs that were denied by official institutions in the past are now accepted as true, and are occasionally disclosed by authorized individuals in certain sessions. Perhaps one day in the future, we will have the opportunity to obtain more accurate information about whether these conspiracy theories are true or not. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and stay tuned. You can support my channel by liking the videos and leaving comments. Until we meet again.